To the Social Service Committee meeting for March the 29th. Today we have a special guest with us, a student at the College of St. Rose. Come on in, Commissioner Gill. You said Janie Carney? Sarah Carney, I'm sorry, Sarah. Sarah Carney. And she's McClellan, Deputy, what are you, Deputy Commissioner of the Department of Health?
No, the deputies.
Right. Oh, Ms. McClellan is the deputy. She's ready for the preparations. Well, thank you for coming to see our presentations this evening, okay? All right then. Our Deputy Commissioner is here with the Department of Social Services. First one on the, no, let's do the minutes first. Can you approve the minutes of the last meeting? So moved. Second. In a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none, it's unanimous. Okay, the first item on the agenda is number 1, authorize an agreement with Interfaith Partnership for the Homeless regarding emergency and transitional shelter services. That's a $602,000 contract. Deputy Commissioner Michelle McClung is here to present tonight.
Good evening.
Thank you.
I'm Michelle McClung. I'm the Deputy Commissioner for the Department of Social Services.
Yes.
And tonight I also have with me Donna Maylath, who's the Director of Temporary Assistance Reception. So hopefully we can answer any questions that you might have about these contracts. First contract, we're asking for reauthorization to renew a contract with Interfaith Partnership for the Homeless for a 30-bed shelter for individuals who are homeless. And it also provides room and board, case management, and other supportive services to help people transition into more permanent housing. This is a mandated service provided through DSS.
This is the same program we've had for years, right? Correct?
Yes, it's a renewal.
Oh, for renewal. Are there any other questions or concerns for Michelle about this item?
Yes.
Mr. Bull.
I've noticed there's a lot of homeless resolutions in the package. In general, I know each specific agency has a different intake, but what was the intake for the winter months on the homeless, do you know?
How many people we placed in shelters?
Yeah, was it increasing or decreasing?
Maybe Donna can answer that.
And can I stand?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Actually, hi, I'm Donna Maylath, Director of Temporary Assistance. Yes, it did increase, and I think part of it is we had milder temperatures, but with the governor's executive order 151, I see an increase because once that temperature hits 32, we are mandated to shelter anyone that comes to the door.
So it increased because of that.
So Code Blue caused an increase in
Cold blue,
services.
but now the temperature has increased because of
Good thing it didn't get
the
bad.
governor's order.
Yeah, most of our shelters were pretty much full for the winter.
Mr. Bergdorf.
Just a question, when we talk about mandates, generally it's a mandate from the state or the federal government. I'm sort of surprised that this is described as a mandated program, but yet we pick up 65% of the cost. Is that usual, or do they sort of vary from program to program?
Well, this serves primarily individuals and not families. And this formula is based on that this shelter in particular. You'll see some of the other shelters are 100% federal reimbursement.
Okay.
Those are families on TANF. Projection is 100%. This is a mix, but primarily individuals. And it is a state regulation that we shelter individuals that are eligible to come into DSS. Okay.
Thank you.
Do I hear a motion to, motion's been made, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Any disapproval? Hearing none, it's unanimous. Number 2, authorize and agree with St. Peter's Addiction Recovery Center regarding emergency and transitional shelter services.
Yes, thank you. We're asking for authorization to renew a contract with SPARK, provide shelter services in an overflow capacity. So this is primarily for those individuals with 11 at a smaller facility, 9 males, 2 females. That's for individuals primarily who have behavioral problems, substance abuse problems, have difficulty in other shelters, and are placed here at this shelter.
Any questions about this item? Hearing no questions, motion is made. And a second. All in favor? Any opposition? Hearing none, is unanimous. Number 3, authorizing agreement with Catholic Charities of Albany regarding emergency transitional shelter services.
Yes, so this is also for two shelters for individuals, Mercy House and Charles Luanga. Mercy House is for females and Charles Luanga is for males. And it also includes supportive services, room and board, as well as assistance in trying to get help for people in benefits applications and in finding more permanent residents and addressing some of the problems that cause their homelessness.
Any questions or concerns about this item? Hearing none. The motion's been made. Is second? All approved? Any approval? Disapproval? Okay. Hearing none. It's unanimous. Number 4, agreement with St. Catherine Center for Children, the Marillac residents regarding the provisions of family shelter services.
Yes, we're requesting authorization to renew a contract with St. Catherine Center to run the Marillac residence. It's a 24-bed facility for families, exclusively a Tier 2 shelter. So it provides a comprehensive range of services, case management, legal assistance, help making sure kids are going to school, childcare, employment readiness, and also working with these families to get them into more permanent residence. So it's a real full-service shelter for families. And this one's 100% federal reimbursement, as you can see.
Any questions? Oh, Mr. Bullock.
Yeah, what makes it 100% federal reimbursement as opposed to the others?
I'll let Anna take that.
Hello, yes, it's because it's TANF. There are families there, their 24 units are TANF only.
Temporary assistance to needy families.
Yes, and it's not safety net. Even if it is a safety net family, someone that's over 60 months, it would still be considered TANF at the Marillac shelter. It's state mandated, and the daily rate is state approved.
Thank you.
So families.
Thank you. Any other further questions about this shelter arrangement? Hearing none, I hear motion to approve. Motion's been made. Do I hear second?
Second.
It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any disapproval? Hearing none, it's unanimous. Okay, number 5, authorize agreement with the Altamont Program, Inc. regarding emergency and transitional shelter services.
Yes, we're requesting authorization to renew a contract with the Altamont program to operate the Skylar Inn, primarily sheltering families as well, but also this shelter sees a few homeless individuals. And they provide a comprehensive range of services, case management, support. This is before the families move into either Marillac shelter and or into finding permanent residence for them.
Any questions or concerns? Go ahead, Ms. Cunningham.
Just a question, we kind of went through several of these sheltering programs. Just wondered what the unmet need is in Albany County for programs like this.
Generally, we have met the need in Albany County for individuals who need to be sheltered, particularly through the winter months, because there are other providers of shelter services that we don't contract with necessarily, so, that are in the county. And there's overflow shelters run by churches and the city mission, et cetera. So we've done a pretty good job of sheltering people who need shelter. Those, if the shelters are full or don't meet the eligibility or entrance requirements for the shelters, we also sometimes use motels to shelter people. So I don't know if you want to add anything more to that?
Right. Our mission at DSS has been to get the families out, singles and families out of motels. With motels, there's no case management. With motels, we see them coming through our door every week without ever succeeding. So we thought with the Altamont program, the Skylar Inn, and all our other shelters, we're able to place them there as opposed to motels. If you all remember, 5 years ago on Central Avenue, all our motels were filled, and nothing ever seemed, our clientele never seemed to progress. And now we're seeing positive moves. These people are becoming stably housed, or their mental health needs are being met. So we think that we've done a lot in the past 6, 7, 8 months at DSS.
So if we see people sort of it looks like they're living on the street. Is that because they have been offered?
There's also free will. We
Right.
try to get people into shelters. Police will even take people during the below 32 degrees. We'll take them to a shelter, and sometimes they leave the shelter. You know, in that case, the shelters do try to provide them with sleeping bags and blankets, et cetera, because there are just some people who have had bad experiences at shelters, and we just really don't want to be sheltered for various reasons. Hopefully, that's only a few people in the county, and we're continually seeing them come through DSS and trying to work with them in a new way to get them to accept shelter.
Another question, yes.
Just one comment, we don't turn anybody away that wants to come into the shelters. I mean, there isn't, I know that from past, but just in, I think you were wondering, you know, you see people out there and they don't want to,
Right.
for whatever reason. But somebody comes to our door and we find them a place to be.
Right, they're supposed to refer to an open shelter if they don't have a spot.
Right.
Paul Gerdoff.
I just, obviously, this, the Altamont program, they're talking about a reimbursement rate of $67.50 for families and $62.50 for singles. One of the other ones earlier was $137 for family, and it included sort of a wide range of case management services. This one at Schuyler says 60 homeless families and adult single homeless individuals with a component of case management services. What sort of services do you get, can you possibly offer when you're being reimbursed $67.50 as compared to the higher reimbursement where you obviously have some money to pay for some services? What kind of benefits can you?
Okay, Marillac, St. Catherine's is a Tier 2 facility.
Okay.
And Schuyler Inn is not. The Schuyler Inn is a performance-based contract like Interfaith, like Spark Morton Avenue, like Mercy and Lawanga. The Schuyler Inn is part of that OTDA mandates a Tier 2 facility. We just oversee it and make sure that our clients are taken care of. With the Schuyler Inn, as you remember, probably 2 years ago, they were just a motel. They weren't recognized as a shelter. So what we're doing now is we're placing families in there. There's a performance aspect of this contract, so they are mandated to provide case management. There's performance measures they have to meet. They must do assessments. They must contact, well, really, COC, our COC, I don't know if you're aware of our coalition of care in the community with HUD. They interact with the staff there. Whereas before we didn't have that component with the Schuyler Inn, now they're getting case management. And another good thing about, unique thing about the Schuyler Inn is they follow these families once they're permanently housed for 90 days. That's something that's really unique in any of our contracts. We don't have that with anyone. So as opposed to just being a motel and having a per diem rate, they're actually being measured by their performance too.
So, I mean, obviously, so you can tell if there's performance management, whether or not you're getting better outcomes.
Yes.
And
Yes,
it's
they're
obviously the
reporting to us.
case.
Yes, they're reporting to us quarterly.
And what is the difference between this and a Tier 2?
The Tier 2, they don't report their performance to us. It's a single unit, 24 units that have a cooking facility right at St. Catherine's. I don't know if you're familiar with Marillac. The family goes in there, they're assessed at a certain level according to OTDA regulations. OTDA is responsible for inspection of the records. OTDA is responsible for inspection of the site, whereas the Schuyler Inn and the Interfaith and all the other facilities, we are responsible for that. So we hold them accountable per contract, the Altamont program, to report to us.
Okay.
We have daily communication with them on our families. We have priority lists. If they can't assist them, they get on a priority list to go to Marillac for further case management. So we've already worked all that out with them, so no family is left unserved.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think Mr. Bullock, you had a final question?
In my impression that they also did job training at the Schuyler Inn. It's especially in hotel management, food service, and whatever. So that's another factor that they're beneficial for.
And we already have
And
that.
they've come out of the news recently, which is good.
They have.
Good.
That is good.
Any more questions or
They deserve
concerns
that.
about the Altamont program? Hearing none, you prepared to vote? All in favor? Motion's been made. It's been seconded. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none, it's unanimous, and thank you, Michelle and Donna, for your great presentations.
Thank you.
Right. Okay, the next one up is, Mr. Commissioner George Brown is up next for,
Long-term care,
is it who's next?
long-term care.
Yeah, long-term care, that's right. Good evening, Commissioner Brown.
Good evening,
Officer
everyone.
David.
Trust everyone had a great weekend.
That's right. The first, item number 6, is your first thing, is authorizing agreement with the long-term care point of entry services.
This is an annual MOU. It's a little late this year because of information we received from the State Office of the Aging. The total amount is $62,141. It's the same amount as it has been for the past several years. And it's used towards the operation of our point of entry New York Connects program.
Okay.
It takes care of 40% of 2 full-time operators on our program, and also and their benefits, and also handles some printing and advertising costs associated with the program.
Okay, any questions? You got a question, Mr. Lockhart?
I saw the number of just protective referrals, and that's adults, not to be confused with child protection. Is that number 576 up from last year? Are you getting more adult protective referrals?
There could be,
You're not-
New York Connects is all encompassing.
No,
I'm sure as the word gets out, we will have increases on just about every program we have out there.
Yeah, I mean, I know that there's the 403 home care referrals and 300 and something delivered meal requests, and then the protective referrals, which are generally adult abuse or concerns, you know? That's why I was
Yes.
wondering if they're up over the years.
The deputy commissioner says they are
Yep,
up.
we
They
have
are.
not seen an increase in both referrals for adult protective services and the number of people looking for guardianships.
Yeah, because I'm seeing more and more community. Thank
So,
you.
Mr. Bullock, do you have a question?
Yeah, on the community and advertising costs, what exactly are those expenses for community education that you do, and why is that significant in not only this one, but a couple of them?
Well, in the New York Connects program, which is now with the Balancing Incentive Program up over close to $450,000, the state is opening up a large campaign through the entire state of New York, all 59 counties. And part of this money, it can be used to foster advertising and education plans for people who call into the number. Because it is a referral program, it's a no wrong door program, where someone calls in with a problem, and eventually they'll be able to be sent wherever they need, not just in the social service or the aging, but say for OPWDD or mental health, or for the Association of Blind or other Alzheimer's or anything else. And there are pamphlets and stuff which we are printing out, which we will distribute to all our when we go out to do all our outreach and everything, to let people know, you know, what's available to them.
So your pamphlets are your sole advertising costs?
At this point on this program, yes.
Good.
Okay, the New York Connects program is expanding, and, you know, hopefully next year at this time, we'll see some other changes which we'll let you know about.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner, do Albany County have a long-term care council? Are we members of the statewide group? We used to be, are we?
Well, we have
We have a
a
council?
local council, but we
Oh, we
don't
do?
have a statewide group. We have a local council
Okay.
of 12 or 13
Good,
seniors.
that's seniors only, okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'll call you and get some more information about the council.
Very
Are there
good.
any more questions for the commission about this item? Okay, prepared to vote? Make a motion. The motion and second, all in favor? Any opposition? Hearing none, it's unanimous. The next item, number 7, amending resolution number 30 for 2016 regarding brokerage transportation services for our eligible seniors.
Okay, we've had some increases in some grants, and we've also had discussions with CDTA Access, our providers, to be able to expand some of our programs of the non-medical nature to fairly adjust the cost to deliver these services. Okay, instead of what we used to have was a $10.32 flat cost, there are a multitude of services which are more costly, and we felt we had to get in line and sit down with CDTA so that we can be more fair about it, so our providers can at least recoup some of their costs.
Any other questions about this particular item? Do I hear a motion? Motion's made. I hear second. Both made and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, it's unanimous. Thank you very much. Number 7, number 8. Number 8 is coming up.
Let's go.
Commissioner Gail Bogan is here. Children, Youth, and Family Services. Number 8. Good evening, Gal. Good. Yeah, Ms. Manning with Deputy Manning with it. Thank you. Amending the 2016 Department for Children, Youth, and Family Services budget regarding the Child Right Safe Harbor Initiative.
Yes, good evening, everyone. The department respectfully requests legislative authorization to accept grant funding from the Office of Children and Family Services in the amount of $120,000 in order to administer the Safe Harbor Initiative. The Safe Harbor Initiative focuses on identification and awareness and services for those youths who have been the victims of commercial sexual exploitation. It comes out of the Safe Harbor Act that was passed in 2008 by the federal government, and it's really looking to switch the mindset of those youths that are identified as part of any sexual acts and really looking at them as not the perpetrators, which oftentimes they were when they were identified, and really looking at them as the victims and really looking at gathering services for them. It's really switching the mindset of not looking at them as the ones that are perpetrating these acts, but really that someone else is really facilitating, and so really looking at identifying them as victims and providing them with necessary services, whether it's in the form of housing, whether it's in the form of clothing, whether it's in the form of counseling, but really looking at having a comprehensive response to when these youths are identified.
Great. Any questions from Commissioner? Yes, go ahead, Lockhart.
I didn't see it in here, but they keep using minors. Is it 18 and under?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yes, it is.
Yes, Mr. Burdoff.
Commissioner, what kind of numbers of youth are involved in Albany County? How big is the problem?
So I will say that's one of the challenge. In 2013, as part of our annual Child and Family Services Update Plan, we specifically actually had to look and identify what those numbers look like in Albany County. And it was interesting because we reached out to a lot of the community agencies and partners to get a sense of, what does that look like for your agency? And the numbers varied drastically. There were some where the numbers were high, and there were some where the numbers were very low or non-existent. So that's actually part of this initiative, is really having a better way to identify youths that are really victims of this, because the idea being if it's not on the radar and you're not looking for it, you may not see it and it goes undetected. So if we're bringing awareness, if we're highlighting what are the concerns to look for, then we have a chance of better identifying. So specifically in regards to the numbers, there were less than 20 at the time that we did that assessment in 2013. We are hoping, as that there is this funding, to really look at having a coordinated effort of identification and awareness, that we will have a much better grasp of it, and that the numbers will actually increase, because we think the numbers are higher, than what we've identified so far.
Thank you.
Any further questions about the Safe Harbor Initiative? I hear a motion. The motion's made and it's been seconded. All in favor? Any opposition? Hearing none, it's approved. Okay, number 9, amended resolution number 21 for 2016 regarding the expanded in-home services for the elderly program. Oh, Michelle's back.
I apologize.
Thanks, all right.
This is just to amend our ability to reimburse the home health agencies at a rate that is more competitive. We're finding we're having difficulty locating home health agencies that are willing to take our ISIP clients. So we respectfully request an amendment to the contract for the expanded in-home services delivery program.
That program was $1,870,000.
The total program
Yeah.
cost is $1.8 million, yes.
Are there any questions about the, what's that, ISIP?
I said.
ISIP. No motion, prepared to make a motion? Motion, I hear second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none, it's approved. Approved, thank you, Commissioner. And I think we got Gail back, don't we?
Yeah.
Number 10. It's like musical chairs, Commissioners. Number 10, authorizing agreement with Parsons Child and Family Services regarding the provisions of child-focused adoption services. Commissioner.
Yes, thank you. The department respectfully requests legislative authorization to renew our contract with Parsons for the administration of the child-focused intervention for youths in foster care, as well as amend our 2016 budget. The child-focused adoption services is through the Dave Thomas Foundation. And it's really another strategy at really how to expedite children from foster care and really have them in a permanent housing circumstance with a family. We have youths that linger in care 24 months and longer, and we really want to be able to focus on what are the reasons for these youths remaining in care so long, and really looking at a child-focused strategy. So really identifying a specific youth that has been in care for an extraordinary amount of time, and what are the circumstances for that particular youth, and then really looking at identifying that particular youth's resources, family members, really doing more of an expansive research in terms of identifying resources for them with the goal of being able to have them in a permanent home.
Are there any questions about this foster program, child-focused program? No questions, I hear motion. Motion is second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none, it's unanimous. Thank you, Commissioners, for your presentations this evening. Final word is motion to adjourn. Say it. Motion to adjourn? Thank you.